Hello, my name is Mackenzie, this is Cassandra, and this is Josee, and today we will be doing an interval workout. So today, our only equipment that we will need will be a mat. It's not necessary, it's more so for comfort, but that is all that we will need. So we're going to start out with a little Tabata warm-up of jumping jacks and lunges. So the jumping jacks, first option is going to be both hands up, jumping the feet out. Our modification will be stepping one foot out and then the other. And then our lunges, our big thing is we want to make sure that we're keeping our chest nice and tall and that our knee is staying over our ankle. So again, chest nice and tall, knee over the ankle. We don't want to be coming forward or being back too far. And just trying to touch the knee, tapping the back knee on the ground. So what we'll do is we'll do 20 seconds of work followed by 10 seconds of rest. So we'll go through each movement 4 times. So let's get started with these jumping jacks in 3, 2, 1. So 20 seconds jumping jacks just to get the heart rate up a little bit, get the blood flowing, loosen up our muscles. Halfway. And rest, we have 10 seconds rest, and then we're going into the lunges. A modification for those who are just not going down as deep in the lunge. And lunges. And you can either step forward or you can step backwards. It is up to you. Halfway. And rest. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but you can follow Josee and Cassandra for our modifications. Back to jumping jacks. And rest. 10 seconds back to those lunges, and then we're halfway through. And lunges. Maybe switch it up. If you did backwards lunges last time, maybe try going forward this time. Over halfway. And rest. Okay, we're halfway done with our Tabata, and again, this is not going to be our workout right here. This is just trying to get our body moving and preparing it for the work we're going to do later. And jumping jacks. And rest. Onto our lunges in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. By now you should be starting to feel a little bit warmer. Your breathing should have picked up a little bit. Heart rate should be up. We're getting ready for this interval workout. And rest. Last round, and then we'll get into some mobility. Just kind of further get the body ready for what we have planned. And jumping jacks. Last set of lunges in 3, 2, 1. 10 seconds left. Three, two, one. Okay, go ahead and grab grab some water, and we're gonna get into some mobility. So our first movement is gonna be runner's lunge. So we're gonna spend about a minute working through each movement. So here we're just gonna start with the knee hug, step it out into a wide lunge, bring our hands on the inside of that forward foot, just trying to get into that hip flexor. And you can just rock in a few circles, so rock one way and then the other, spending a few seconds here, and then you can come back, walk the hands up, and switch. So we're just going to work through this for a few minutes, not staying in one position for too long, trying to keep some of the movement that we just got through our warm-up. You also have the option on the runner's lunge to try to bring the arm, the same arm as your forward foot. You can try to bring that forearm to the ground if you don't want to do the circles. Then still just coming back up, walking the hands to the feet, standing up, back in the knee hug. Let's just get a few more each side. About one more each side, just to make sure that you're even in the amount of reps you did on both sides. And this should be your last one. Okay. Our next movement is going to be, again, a knee hug, but we're going to do a side lunge this time. So bring the knee up, stepping wide. You can point this toe up or leave it on the ground. It's up to you. But we're going to focus on really sending the hips back and pushing up. So just like our normal squat or our normal lunge, we want to keep the back nice and straight. As we go down, we don't want to be bending over. We want to stay upright and tall, using our leg muscles to propel ourselves up. So side lunge or knee hug, down to the side lunge. It doesn't have to be full depth right now because we're just trying to get to that movement, but we want to try to work to as deep as we can while keeping good form. Just spend about a minute here, going through each side. And another point with these is we want to make sure that our knee is going out, that it's not coming in or coming forward too far. We want to make sure it's going out and back. Modify this one to whatever depth you feel comfortable at, where you are still challenging yourself a little bit, but you're not hurting yourself. Let's do about 2 more each side. Last one on each side, or evening it out. Our next movement is going to be a downward dog with a reach. So what that's going to look like, walk out into our downward dog position, trying to pull the shoulders away from the ears. And we're going to shift slightly to one side, lift this arm, and try to touch the opposite foot. So just trying to hold tension, switching from one side to the other. So we'll do this for about a minute. If you need to, you can drop into plank Or if you want to spend more time in a downward dog, just pedaling out the feet, try to get into those calves, feel free to. And it's okay if you're not touching your foot, just trying to focus on shifting the body weight slightly, and you can even just lift up the palm, and that could be good. So a few more on each side. Make sure you even it out. And then for our next movement, you can stay in the downward dog, but this time we're going to add pigeon. So we're going to raise one leg, sweep it through, making sure that the knee is on the outside of our body for pigeon. And you can come down, you can go to one side, to the other. We just don't want to hang out here for too long. Spend a few seconds here, feel the stretch, and then we're going to tuck the toe under and push back into downward dog to switch legs. So just kind of getting some active movement through this stretch. Get a couple more in on each side. Then we're going to start with our first block. Even it out, make sure you're even on both sides. And then if you would like, you can continue stretching, but I'm going to go into our movements for this first block. So our first block, we're going to have 3 rounds of descending time. So our first round, we're going to work for 40 seconds and then have a 20-second rest. Our second round is going to be 30 seconds of work and 15 seconds of rest. And then our last round will be 20 seconds of work and 10 seconds of rest. And so what it's going to look like, we have 4 movements. Our first movement is going to be a little bit of cardio, get the heart rate up. It's just going to be high knees. So arms and legs moving, you're trying to get your knee above the hip crease. So just kind of running in place, really trying to get those knees up high. Modification for this would be maybe just not raising the knee as high, just jogging in place. Or if you would like to just march in place, that is good too. Our next movement is going to be the air squat. So how we set that up, our feet are going to be about shoulder width apart. We're going to keep the core nice and strong, keep the back straight like all of our other movements. We're going to send the knees out, hips back, drop down, trying to get our hip crease at or below parallel. So what that looks like is we're trying to get the hip crease below our knees and standing up, using the glutes to stand up. Next movement is going to be plank shuffle. So what that's going to look like is we are going to be in the plank position and we're just going to walk from one side to the other, just trying to hold tension while getting a little bit of movement in. And then our last option is going to be sit-ups. We're going to be doing butterfly sit-ups. So feet in the butterfly position, you'll go back, tap above your head, and then tap in front of your feet. So modification for the air squats, going back to those. So full air squat, we're going to have full depth. Modification, instead of going all the way down, we're just going to go to a quarter squat, so about halfway. Modification for the plank shuffles would be either just holding a plank from your feet or from your knees, just trying to get a little bit of tension on the shoulders and just trying to maintain that for as long as you can. And for the sit-ups, modification would be crunches. So you can have feet in the butterfly position. Modification would just be slight raises, just trying to get those shoulder blades off of the ground. So I'm going to reset my timer Again, we're going through it 3 times, each movement 3 times, but it's going to be a different time each time, and I'll let you know when we get there. So we're going to start with 40 seconds of work and 20 seconds of rest, starting with those high knees in 3, 2, 1. So, really trying to get those knees as high as you can. If you want, you can put your hands out as a bit of a marker. We're just trying to get the heart rate up here. Halfway. Seconds left. See if you can pick up the speed a little bit. Use those arms to really drive the knees up. And 3, 2, 1. 20-second rest. And we're going into those air squats. 10 seconds. If you want an added challenge, feel free to add a jump at the top of the air squat. So we're starting 3, 2, 1. So the added challenge, you're gonna propel yourself off the ground with a bit of a jump. But you can also stick to regular air squats. 40 seconds is a long time for one movement. Halfway. And for all of these movements, go at whatever pace is gonna challenge you. If that's with us, great. If that's not, great too. If you want to go slower, faster, it's all up to you. And rest. Next we have those plank shuffles. We're going to be down on the ground in 10 seconds. With those plank shuffles, make sure you're still maintaining a nice straight body as you're moving. And 3, 2, 1. Make sure that you're pulling the shoulder blades away from the ears. We don't want to get hunched up. We want to stay nice and relaxed through the neck. Halfway. Ten seconds left. And rest. Now we're going into those sit-ups. Again, we're doing butterfly position, so that really hits those abdominals underneath. And we're starting in 3, 2, 1. Making sure that when we go back, our hips are not popping up. We want to keep them on the ground. Halfway. And rest. Okay, we have 20 seconds, and then we're starting at the top again, but we're going to go for 30 seconds this time with a 15-second rest. So the idea of having the rest be half of the time of the work is that you are really pushing yourself and trying to work that entire time because you have tons of rest. And high knees, 30 seconds this time. Halfway. Trying to get those knees a little higher. 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Okay, 15-second rest. And onto those air squats. Make sure you're breathing throughout all these movements. trying to recover that breath. And we're starting with air squats. Seconds left. 3, 2, 1. 15-second rest. And then plank shuffles. And if you went side to side last time, feel free, switch it up, and you can go forward and backwards this time. And plank shuffle. Just remember, we're trying to keep those hips down. We don't want to bring them up. We want to stay nice and in line. Halfway. Three, 2, 1. Okay. Onto the sit-ups. 5 seconds. And 3, 2, 1. When you come up to the top, try to get that chest tall. We don't want to be reaching over to touch the toes. We want to make sure that we're bending at the hips and not at the back to touch those toes. 10 seconds left. And 3, 2, 1. Rest. Okay. 15 seconds. Then we're going to start at the top. 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. So this should be the highest intensity round because it's such a short amount of time. And in 3, 2, 1. High knees. This should be as fast as you can for the entire 20 seconds. 5 seconds left. And 3, 2, 1. Rest. And then moving on to air squats. Maybe try to challenge yourself this time and throw in a few of those squat jumps. And air squats. Maybe every third you want to throw in a little jump. It's only 20 seconds. Halfway. 5 seconds left. And rest. Now to those plank shuffles. Feel free, go whatever way you want. If you want to go side to side for halfway and then forward to backwards, go for it and go. Halfway. Three, 2, 1. Rest. And sit-ups. In 3, 2, 1. Over halfway. And rest. Alright, so I guess the first block done. We have 2 more to go. This next block, we have 3 rounds, and we're doing each movement for 1 minute. So there's no rest in between movements for this time. Our first movement is going to be plank jack, so that we're going to be in our plank position, shoulder blades away from the air, shoulder blades away from the ear, back nice and flat, and we're going to hop the feet out and in. Modification is stepping the foot out and back in, or just holding the plank. Our next movement, we're going to come up to our feet for lunges like we did in the warm-up. These ones can either be forward or backwards. It is up to you. We're just trying to keep that knee above the ankle, not letting it come forward, and keeping the chest high. We don't want to be bending over in these lunges. And the modification for that is just doing a little lunge dip. So we're not going all the way down to the ground, we're just dipping slightly. Next movement, we're going to do a side plank, so we're going to do 30 seconds on each side, and I'll call out when the halfway mark is. And if you want to go from the forearm or the hand, it is up to you. But we're trying to pretend like our body is in between two planes of glass, just one straight line. For modification, you can drop the bottom knee here, or if you want to take it up, you can raise the top leg. But we'll do 30 seconds on one side and then switch. Then we're coming back with another cardio movement. This is going to be burpees. And like I always say, I don't care how pretty this looks. You just need to fall on the ground and get back up again, however that looks to you. So that could be jumping out, down, jumping up with a little hop at the top so you get that full extension. Or you can step back, step up, or step back, jump up. Or if you can't get all the way to the ground, no worries. You can just step the feet out, back in, and then do a little calf raise at the top, or any combination thereof. And then finally, our last movement is going to be T push-ups. So what that looks like is we're going to have our hands out for a wide push-up. You're going to come down, and then you're going to open up to one side, and then down, open up to the other side. Modification for this would be push-ups on the knees, coming down, up, rotating, or just down and up with no rotation. After those 5 movements, we have a 1-minute rest, so that is your only rest in this set. So again, 3 rounds of all those movements, 1-minute rest at the very end, but each movement we're going for 1 minute. Okay, so we're starting with those plank jacks. So plank position, hopping the feet out and in, or stepping the feet out. In 3, 2, 1. And it's 1 minute, which is a long time. You want to find a pace that's maybe not as fast as you could possibly go, but that you can maintain for the entire minute. We want to try to keep moving here. We have a rest built in at the end, so we don't want to take up our movement time with rest. Nice work. Halfway there. Seconds left, and we're going right into those lunges. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Standing up, going right into the lunges. And you can alternate, so maybe this round you're doing forward lunges, and the next round you're doing backwards lunges, or at the halfway mark, you can switch. It is up to you. Halfway. Seconds left. Then we're going into those side planks and side plank. halfway down on this side. Really try to get those hips as high as you can. 5 seconds left. And switch. Halfway. And then our next movement is going to be those burpees. And 3, 2, 1. Transition right into those burpees. Again, you don't have to be sprinting. A minute is a long time, but you want to find a pace that pushes you, but that you can maintain. Halfway, and this doesn't have to be a push-up at the bottom. It can just be you falling on the ground and then getting back up. 15 seconds left. Three, two, one, and T push-ups. Feel free, take these nice and slow. This is a long time to be doing push-ups. Halfway. For 15 seconds left. We've been going for 45. And rest. So this is our minute break. We have 2 more rounds. Use this round as kind of a gauge for how the next 2 rounds are going to go. Maybe you went a little bit too fast. You need to scale it back so that you can go for the entire minute for each movement. Or maybe now you could challenge yourself a little bit more. Go a little bit faster. It's really up to you. Use this chance, stretch out anything you need to. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Grab some water. We have less than 30 seconds left. And if you want, if you feel like you don't need the full rest, feel free. Do some jumping jacks. If you feel like you don't need the full rest, go ahead. Start with some jumping jacks. We have 10 seconds left. And plank jacks in 3, 2, 1. Halfway. If you need to, push back into a plank, pedal at the feet a few seconds, get right back into it. Fifteen seconds left. Three, two, one. Up into those lunges. So last time I did forward lunges. This time I'm going to switch it up. Go backwards. Just using some slightly different muscle groups. Your legs should be burning by now. We're about halfway through. Another tip for these lunges is don't line your feet up one in front of the other. Get some space, about hips distance or more, and it'll help with your balance. 15 seconds left. Then we're going to those side planks. And 3, 2, 1. Down for side plank. Trying to make this transition as quickly as possible. Make sure you're breathing through these side planks. We have burpees coming up next. 10 seconds left on this side. And 3, 2, 1. Switch. Halfway done on this side. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And burpees. Halfway there. Try to maintain that same pace that you set for the first 30 seconds. And like I said earlier, it doesn't have to be our pace. It can be faster or slower. It is up to you. 10 seconds left. And rest. 2 push-ups now. Last minute before our break. Halfway. Seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Rest. Good news is we only have one more round, so we only have to do each exercise one more time. Make sure you're taking nice deep breaths here, utilizing your whole rest, because this is our last minute, our last round. So you want to try to make it as intense as you can. We have about 20 seconds left of our rest. Grab some water. Maybe if you feel like it, you can start moving around a little bit, jog in place, do some jumping jacks. And in 10 seconds, we're starting with those plank jacks. In 3, 2, 1. Remember to breathe through these movements. halfway, maybe push back, get a few pedals in, right back into it. Seconds left. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Up for lunges. The good thing about this, we're done with plank jacks now. Think about really using your glute to lower yourself down and back up again. And halfway, maybe you want to switch, go the opposite direction now. Seconds left, and then we're done with lunges. And 3, 2, 1, side plank. Again, trying to have fast transition here. Halfway. And 3, 2, 1, switch it over. Halfway. And 3, 2, 1. Onto burpees. Our last cardio movement of the day. Halfway, keep pushing. There's no more cardio after this. Five seconds left. And push-ups. Last movement for this block. Over halfway. Seconds left. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Okay. We have one last little finisher, and then we're done today. It's going to be a Tabata, so it's only 4 minutes. It's going to be 4 rounds of each movement. Our 2 movements are going to be happy star, so what that is, out in a starfish position, and you're going to bring the opposite arm up touch the opposite leg and just rotate back and forth. Modification is just trying to touch, instead of maybe the foot, maybe just touch the shin, the knee, but just trying to push yourself up. And then next movement, we're going to flip over, plank position one last time. And we're going to do glute raises. So we're going to keep our legs straight, just lift one off the ground, and then the other, really focusing on squeezing the glute to lift that leg up. So 4 more minutes, starting with the happy start, 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, 4 rounds, in 3, 2, 1, happy start. And you can use the arm that's on the ground as a bit of a brace to help get yourself up. 3 seconds left. And rest. Then we're going to flip over for those glute bridges. So that's really going to work our core for the stability, and then the glutes to try to raise that leg up. And go. It's not bending at the knee, it is leg straight, using the glute to pull that leg up. 5 seconds left. And rest. Back over to happy start. Just 3 more rounds of each. And go. Seconds left. And rest. Flip it over. Shake out the arms a little bit. We've done quite a bit of work with those today. And glute raises. We're trying to keep the hips down in that nice plank position here. 5 seconds left. And rest. Flip it back over. We're halfway through. Less than 2 minutes of work left. And 3, 2, 1. Three, 2, 1. Flip it over. If you want, you can also do these planks on the forearms. And go. Three, 2, 1. Rest. Last round. And 3, 2, 1. Halfway. 3, 2, 1. Flip it over for the last 20 seconds. And 3, 2, 1. Three, 2, 1. Rest. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been an interval workout. My name is Mackenzie. This is Cassandra. This is Josee. And we hope to see you again next time.